welcome back to the spider's web. We're going to carry on now, oops, with this fella. Now what we can do is, we can, once I find my brush, it's over here, do the highlighting on the bone areas first, and that, as usual, is just a dry brush with the scorpion green. Nothing, in fact it's not the highlighting, it's the implication of the actual colour of the bone being the green. The highlighting will be the yellow after it. So I want to go all over there with green. As I've said in previous videos, the Caliban green is to give the shadow colour. The scorpion green is to imply the actual colour. So the yellow is the highlight colour. So you want this scorpion green to be a little bit more, or to have a lot more coverage than the yellow would have, but not anywhere near as much as the Caliban green. So that is the effect we're trying to achieve by being much more careful in where we apply it and having it as more of a dry brush. Alternative, I suppose, could always say this is like a mid highlights colour, but we're going all over with this. It's not really a highlight colour, but I suppose if you're going to be technical about it, you could describe it as being that, I suppose, because you're leaving certain aspects of the dark Caliban green showing through, but you're not just going where the light is hitting, you're going all over. There we go. As you can see, so we want this looking quite as though it's toxic. Give it quite a toxic look, which is why I'm doing dark greens, almost blacks, and then very vivid bright green and yellow as highlights. And I think it does the job. And just do the knee pad there, and oops, one bit where the light would be hitting I've not done. That's typical me, isn't it? Okay, so there we go. Nearly finished now. It's just brightening up a few areas because we want it fairly bright before we put the wash on to dull it down. I know it sounds stupid, but we want the green and the yellows to show through the wash. We're wanting the wash to go on to blacken it more than actually dull it down. So there we go. And as I say, every time I come to do a video, my phone goes off. I just have to keep trying to remember to put it on silent. Right, there's a text, there's a reply to a text I sent well over an hour ago. Oh well, not to worry, not to worry. Okay, so that's that bit done. While we're waiting for that to dry, which, okay, doesn't take long, I know. What we can do is the base. We can sort out the okay, sorry I'm gone quiet, I was just trying to think of something then. Okay, so what we're doing is just splattering the basing material all over the base, front and back. We can do that with this because it's not what's the word I'm looking for? It's not going to be interrupted by any other model, which is why we can do it now before we finish painting the model. So this base is actually finished. You can add bits and pieces too if you so wish. I'm choosing not to. We can put little pieces of the chopped up pieces of the sprue that the terrain pieces came on. You could put that on it to make it like stumps, or broken pieces of concrete or some such. There's all sorts of options open when you're doing bases, but I just want to keep these just quite simple. Because I said these are just bit what you call it, these are gaming models, so I don't want the bases to be too fancy. What I'm doing with them is enough, but as I said, just because I'm not going too overboard with the bases doesn't mean to say that you need to be as restrained. Your models, your bases, you do them as you see fit. Okay, so that's the base done on that one. Now what we can do is, with the red, we can mix our medium pink that will go over the red on the fleshy parts of our little friend here. Okay, so I'm going to put him over there while that dries and move your man here to the forefront. Okay, as I said, we're going to have a lot of white in this, and it will go in with the red here. Like so. A lot more. There we are, that's a nice mid-red for what we want. I'm going to change brushes because, as I've said frequently, that one's getting to be a little bit, that one's splaying out a little bit too much, so I'm going to use a slightly finer brush. So this is going to be a dry brush more than anything else, so we will just waft it down over the model. Right, so leaving some of the dark exposed. And again, this is being implied as being the actual colour, and the red beneath in the wash as being shadows. I think the wash has turned out, this Drakenhof Nightshade that I used as the wash has done a good job of this over the Wazdaka Red. The Druchar Violet seemed to have been what's the word I'm looking for? A little too pale to make much of a difference. You couldn't see the colour terribly well. So with this one, you seem to have darkened it down. I say it's a case of the Druchii Violets is going to be added as a wash when I've finished doing the highlights on the pinks. We're going all over there. And then a wash with Druchii Violets to give it more of a purpley pinky shadow colour. There we are. Now you don't need to do the bottom of this hand because it's going to be glued onto the post or the barricade, depending on how you decide to fit it, but I'm going to do all of the feet. Obviously you're going to have to do the whole of that arm. All the feet are going to be done. Every other bit of red you can see is going to be covered with this pink. So you don't really need to do that. I'm going to go over a little bit around the edges where it's going to be seen, but I'm not going to be going overboard with doing the doing this pink highlighting effect over the top. And now I'll shake a little bit more white. I will add a little bit more white into the mix to make it much more of a paler pink. Like so. And we go over all the pink areas that we've already done, but not on the undersides of anywhere. All this is going to be on raised areas that will hit the light. So we don't want it on anywhere that is going to be in shadow, like so. And there's our chappy almost done. We just have this little bit here to do, and then once that is dried, now then we can get the Druchii Violet out and wash it completely. Okay, I want to show you the while we're waiting for that to dry, which won't take long obviously, our swarm. I've done the base of it, so while we're waiting for that to dry, I'll put that again to one side. We'll go over the base and make sure it's done. Might as well get everything finished while we can, and then we just have the two big ones to do. In fact no, we've got the two little ones to do and the two big ones to do. The two little ones I will do in the next video. But the big ones I'll do one on one video, one in another, so you'll get at least 3 more videos out of me on the plague, and then we can start on the enforcers. And I still haven't managed to nip into Games Workshop and appropriate myself another pot of the black, but if I can remember, I shall nip into town tomorrow and get some, in the assumption that it's going to be open. I don't know if it was last week or the week before I went and it wasn't open. This was a Thursday, so I don't know whether the guy who's running it was ill or whatever. They don't seem to get cover here in Wigan, so if he's ill the shop's shut. Okay, so that's the Swarm base painted. Looking a lot better now. There we go. I don't think there's any right way or wrong way of holding this one, to be honest. Mind you, yeah, there is, because there's all the rats and the millipedes running forward, so I think it moves that way. You've got a few slugs and whatever pointing to the back, but okay, so let's have a look for our Ducci violets. We found it, here it is, and we're going to blap some of this stuff on our model. There we go. And this is how it's going to be done. What I think I should have done first of all was gone over the green parts with the yellow, but oh well, I forgot myself then for a second. I can do that in the next video, because we aren't going to be able to do any more with this now until it's dried, so we can finish it off in the next video. Before we go on to in fact it might be better just concentrating on finishing this in the next video, because we have the eyes and not eyes, the teeth and everything to do, so we can concentrate a little more on the details of this one. There we go. Really should have thought of some way of being able to hold this while I was painting, but never mind. There we are, it's done. So all we have to do now is wait until it's dried and then go over the greens with the yellow, teeth, toenails, fingernails, and glue it to the base. But you can't do that yet, as I say, until it's dry. So there we go, that's what we've done so far. So until next video, as always, take care, God bless, and bye for now.